I've never told this story in a video. I've mentioned it on podcasts before, but I've never made a video and told the story. My mother, seen here, was 16 years old when I was born. My dad was 21. They'd been together since she was 14. So she was 14. He was 19 when they got together. You guys have heard me talk about my dad before. He was very racist. My mother will tell you the same. And my mother, being very young and uneducated, she just kind of went along with whatever my dad did. And he was also abusive. My mother was abused. And I talked to her before I made this video to make sure that she's okay with me telling that part of her story. My dad was a domestic abuser and also a child abuser. He abused me as well. That's not the point of this video, though.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Amy and today I want to share something really powerful. I have a clip of a white man opening up about his childhood and he's sharing a very strong and honest message. And in his story, you'll see how racism can be taught, how some people try to instill hate in their children, and how they shape a child's mind to fear or despise people of color, even when it's not true. So let's watch and see what he has to say. Then I'll be back after the clip to break it all down. Let's take a look.
When I was 3 years old, my mother was 19. She found the courage to leave my dad, which wasn't easy to do. And the divorce was nasty because my dad he's passed away now, a pretty controlling, narcissistic type guy. And shortly after leaving my dad, my mother was in a relationship with another man who was a black man. And my dad being the racist. See, I was raised in the 80s in North Carolina, and my dad was a racist. So her leaving him for a black man was like this big taboo thing. Like, you don't do that. And so when everything went to court, my dad ultimately got custody of me because the judge in the 80s in North Carolina is not giving the child to the woman dating a black man, to the white woman dating a black man, especially when my dad was the one with the career and the income and the money, and my mom had nothing. He had left her with nothing. Fast forward to when I was 10 years old. During those 7 years after the divorce, my dad taught me to hate my mom. He taught me that she was a sinner, that the Bible did not approve of interracial marriages. He showed me in the Bible where the Bible says you can't marry outside your race. And I believed her to be basically of the devil himself. I hated her. When I was 10 years old, I found out that my dad was being taken to court because my mother was trying to get visitation rights. I was terrified. I didn't want to meet this evil woman. She won. She got visitation rights of me. I'll never forget, ever to this day, I can still vividly remember where I was, the weather and everything when she picked me up the first time. I was terrified. But I made it my mission, that first visit, that she would never visit me again. I made that my mission, that she would never want to see me after this day. I called her a sinner. I called her children, because she had 3 children with her second husband. Obviously, they were biracial children. And I called her children the N-word. I called her an N-word lover. Now, keep in mind, I'm 10 years old. But this is how I was raised. This is what I believed at age 10. And she told me, you shouldn't think like this or talk like this. And I ignored her. It was like a 2-hour visitation, whatever it was. And then she dropped me back off at my house. And I told my dad, she'll never pick me up again, Dad, I promise you. 2 weeks later, when it was time for her next visitation, I waited in my yard on the Saturday at the time that I was supposed to be there. And I was sure she wouldn't pull up, but she did. She did pull up. I was befuddled. Oh my God, she came back. This time, she took me to her house in a mostly black neighborhood, and a place I had never been. I was raised on the mountain, all white neighborhood, very much racist. And I was told that black neighborhoods were crime-ridden, filthy areas. Avoid them. So I went to this black neighborhood and I thought, oh my God. I went in her house and she said, I want you to meet your brothers and sisters. And they came out and they were so excited to see me because my mom had never told them a bad thing about me. And I wanted to be mean to them because that's how I was raised. But I couldn't bring myself to be mean to them because they were so nice and polite to me. I was not nice to them. I tolerated them in my mind, but I wasn't mean to them. And then every 2 weeks she came and got me And over the course of time, I built a relationship with my siblings, with her. And I started questioning things like maybe the things my dad told me are not true, because what I see in this neighborhood, what I see in my mom's house, what I see everywhere is not what I was told. And I had a choice to make at the early age of about 11. Do I believe what I was raised, or do I challenge these ideas? And just like my mom had got away from my dad and challenged those ideas and grew and was better, I decided that I too can be better. I started challenging the ideas my dad raised me in. It started a very tumultuous relationship with my dad, as if it wasn't tumultuous to begin with. Again, I was an abused child. I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'm missing a lot of very deep details, but I'm trying to give you the idea. By the time I was 15, I had read books and read the speeches of Dr. King and watched interviews with Malcolm X, and I really started realizing, like, there's a whole nother world out there that I didn't realize. Fred Hampton, Angela Davis, these things really opened my eyes. And I even basically got into a fight with my dad over it when I was 15 and was thrown out of my house. But my deconstruction process had begun, and it has continued for the past, 27 years. I'm 42 now. And it's all thanks to my mom, just being a mom, just showing up. And I've never had like the closest relationship with my mom because the story I just told you, but I've been friends with her now for, how old is that? 25 years. And, I just want to say thanks for showing up. Thanks for not giving up on me. I may have never challenged my ideas and beliefs and may have been stuck in the same trap that, I was born into, and I wasn't. So thanks, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Let's really talk about what the story shows us, not just for this man, but for a much bigger picture. First of all, this man's experience is powerful, but unfortunately, it's not unique. Racism in America, especially generational racism, often works in the same way. And children are taught to fear, mistrust, or even hate Black people. Sometimes subtly, sometimes openly, by their families, their communities, and even institutions. And the narrative that Black people are dangerous, lazy, or bad is something many white children grow up hearing. And it's repeated so often that they begin to believe it's the truth. And this isn't about one child's upbringing. It's about a system that has been in place for centuries. From history to media to everyday interactions, Black people are often depicted as the enemy, as people to be feared, controlled, or distrusted. And the consequences are huge. It perpetrates cycles of misunderstandings, of fear and hate, not just between races, but within families themselves. And children inherit biases that were never their own. And it can take years or a lifetime to unlearn them. But here's the thing. Reality often tells a very different story. When people step outside the bubble of lies and experience Black people as human beings, as kind, loving, generous, and just ordinary people, they start to question everything they were taught. And that's exactly what happened in the story you just saw. The man's father tried to make him hate his mother, hate his stepfather, hate his Black siblings. But when he finally experienced love and kindness from them, he couldn't hold on to the hate. And this shows us that racism, as much as it is taught and ingrained, it's not natural. It can be challenged though. It can be confronted and unlearned, but only if people are willing to see the truth with their own eyes. And that's why exposure, understanding, and human connection are so powerful. Black people in America have faced this kind of prejudice for generations. They've been labeled criminals, lazy, or immoral simply because of the color of their skin. And racist narratives try to dehumanize them and make white people feel justified in their fear or anger. But when you look at reality, the communities, the families, the everyday interactions, you see a completely different truth. You see that Black people are not evil. They are human beings indeed, just like everyone else, and they deserve to be seen that way. So guys, with that said, I want to hear from you. How have you seen misconceptions about Black people challenged in real life? Have you ever seen someone unlearn bias because a reality didn't match what they were told? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this remind us that hate is learned, but so is love, understanding, and change. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay blessed.